The Psychology of Les Miserables.
Maybe you've heard about Kohlberg. Lawrence Kohlberg. He's a big name in psychology with moral development, the development of what people understand as being right or wrong. If you don't, maybe you want to go here and check it out and learn a little bit about Kohlberg's moral stages of development, because I'm about to show you how the movie slash Broadway play slash book slash musical Les Miserables by Victor Hugo relates directly to Kohlberg's moral stages of development. Warning, spoiler alert, I'm going to give you some plot details, so maybe if you don't want to know those, you go someplace else and learn about Kohlberg and his moral stages of development. But here's a rundown.
At the end of the day, it's about moral dilemmas.
Okay, so Les Miserables is really a big story set in France in the 19th century, early 19th century. And it really seems to pit a lot of stage 4 moral reasoning, where you're totally rooted in law, against stage 5 moral reasoning, where you're looking more at fairness and justice and not entirely following the law to the T. The main characters are this guy, who's a young boy at the beginning of the story but grows into a man. His name is Jean Valjean. And this guy, Javert, a police detective who's sort of after Jean Valjean's whole life. Well, what happens is Jean Valjean steals a loaf of bread to help feed himself early on in the story. And it's against the law, of course, but he's willing to break the law because it's survival, and he's thinking of fairness and justice, and it's not really a fair world if people can't survive on bread, and bread has become expensive. He's at a stage 5 of moral reasoning. But Javert is much more stage 4, which looks at the law and says the rules exist and the rules must be obeyed. So Javert's moral reasoning, according to Kohlberg, is at stage 4. Javert arrests Jean Valjean and puts him in prison for 19 years.
Look here, it's Kohlberg's moral stages.
Then, later on, Jean Valjean escapes from prison, goes off, makes a life for himself, and becomes wealthy. And he becomes like the patriarch of a town. He's the mayor. And eventually he hears that another man has been arrested, and they think that this other man is Jean Valjean. They think that this guy is him. But he knows that he shouldn't have to go to jail. He hears that they're going to throw this guy in jail for life. Jean Valjean says, oh my God, I can't, what am I going to do? Here's another moral dilemma. Really, Les Miserables could just be called Les Moral Dilemmas. We've got a moral dilemma, and they sing them out, and they're like, moral dilemma. This moral dilemma is, I could tell Javert that I am Jean Valjean, and I would go to prison for life. Or I could let this guy just take it and go to prison for life, and I would be a bad person. It's clearly a moral decision, an immoral decision, to let this man who is innocent be locked up when you are the guilty person. So Jean Valjean makes the good decision. It's moral stage 5, it's fairness is what he's looking at. He is making a stage 5 decision when he says, I'm Jean Valjean, this man is innocent, I'm who you're looking for. Javert at that point can't understand why Jean Valjean would make a decision like that. It's very interesting.
I dreamed a dream of stage 6 morality.
There's also a lot of other moral dilemmas going on in Les Miserables that don't have to do with Javert and Jean Valjean, such as this one where Fantine sells herself as a prostitute to pay for her daughter, but then eventually gives her daughter away to this unscrupulous hotel manager and his wife, who are con artists, just because she knows that that would be better for Cosette, her little daughter, than her raising her. These things are often meant, these are a lot of stage 5 fairness type decisions that are meant to make the reader of the book, the watcher of the movie, the listener to the musical or Broadway play, empathize with the main characters in this movie, or book, or Broadway play. Same with when this soldier shoots Garache. Garache is a very young boy who crossed the barricade, and this soldier is just doing his job. He's just legally obeying the law, while Garrosh and the resistance fighters that are in this movie are going by stage 5, fairness. And then in the end, the big culmination is when Javert sees Jean Valjean saving a young man who, the young man was in love, and it's like this extremely moral situation where it shows that Jean Valjean is a moral person. He's clearly operating at stage 5, stage 6 even sometimes, is very high levels, and Javert realizes that he's been wrong all along. He's been at stage 4, and being just a straight rule follower doesn't always work for these situations, these dilemmas where oftentimes there's morality beyond the law. And Javert, because of his conflicted nature, decides to commit suicide, and he jumps off of this bridge and he dies. So there is Les Miserables, according to Lawrence Kohlberg's moral stages in a nutshell.